the art of positioning. Okay, positioning yet again another important key, but the thing about it is all of these little elements are all pretty much interconnecting. Okay, without one, it's kind of a shortfall. All right, so it's kind of a you know entire formula kind of pulled together to create these four simple things. Okay, um, open, relationship, positioning, and closing. That sale. Okay, and closing a call or webinar or whatever. Okay, all very important. This is just another element, but this includes kind of showing some of your authority. All right. I would assume that everybody is an expert in their field, and it's not hard to position yourself as such. Okay, um, being an expert is relative. Okay, it shouldn't have anything to do with a monetary value, dollar amount wise, and I think that's something that we should all stay away from anyway. All right, because really it's irrelevant. All right, because there's other things that you can do to position yourself. Okay, and really it's the why. Okay, so leverage your attributes. Okay, some of the things that you have done. Okay, in your own background. Okay, that's pretty simple to do. I would say most people that are in the position to do sales probably run their own business too. Okay. I started my first business back in 2000. So my first business was an e-commerce business, and we really grew that to a pretty decent sized company. But that's an attribute that I can share. I'm not going to share dollar amounts, but what I'm going to share is, I've ran businesses before, and I ran that little e-commerce company for 13 years. And we sold everything from, flashy vampire teeth to flashy gloves to jeans to you name it. All right. We had a huge store that was just full of product. All right. And I like to share the why we left it because it was a lot of work. We didn't understand outsourcing then. We were the everything department. All right. And then we ran into something better. And that was the digital age of digital training. Okay. But that builds some positioning right off the front. And you didn't have to talk about, being a millionaire or any of that kind of stuff. Okay. Because that's all really irrelevant. And number one, you should just never do it anyway. Because it can put any company in a position to have to explain that, and also, monetary value association. We don't want to do that ever, okay? Because we don't want people to think that they're going to be successful just because we are. All right, it takes hard work, dedication, blah 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 blah. All right, for sure. So, but you can leverage some of your attributes. Okay, that's really important. Okay, I personally, I'm a 4-time author. All right, and I share that, as a positioning tool. I'm a 4-time author. I run my own businesses. No different than, I'm a speaker. I've spoken at many events, for sure, live and recorded live stream, so on and so forth, right for this company even, and it's important to leverage some of that, okay, because that positions you as an authority, all right, and it's great. It's okay to position yourself as an authority, all right. You should want to do that. And that kind of leads back into that Not that you're telling your entire story again. It's just a little bit of a different story. Okay? You know, that really where you came from and your journey, maybe in your business life. Not so much in the personal side of things, but more in the business side of things. And if you can leverage that, you position yourself, okay, in a very big way. And not only from that perspective, I also like to make sure, you know, anybody that I work with, say a student, that they really understand the art of positioning for themselves. Okay. What do I mean by that? Well, that's really another branding discussion, but I always like to share with students that, you know, you've been through all this training. Okay. You can position yourself as an expert. Okay. To a degree. But looking at that, like when a doctor, they go through 8 years of school or whatever it is, they come out, I mean, they're an expert, right? So when it comes to helping a student position in their business, you know, they are to a degree an expert. You can make them feel that way because they are, compared to regular Joe Schmuck out there, all right? Their neighbor doesn't even know what a landing page is, all right? So you can make them feel comfortable by, number one, positioning yourself, and also showing them how they can pre-position themselves too, all right? Because most people that are new to business, the first thing they will say is, well, how am I supposed to talk to anybody? I barely know what I'm doing. All right. That's really not a true statement. If you've been through some kind of formalized training, like here, people have been through formalized training. All right. And now they're continuing that training. So are they new to the business in general? Yes. But they've had some training. So they should be positioned. I wouldn't use the term guru, but I would use the term a leader. Okay, that's one of the terms I like to brand myself as. I am a leading authority in the marketing field. Okay, and I absolutely am. I have 4 books published to prove it. So it's important that make them feel the same way to a certain level. All right, are they on the same level as you and I? Probably not. Obviously not. But the point is you position yourself in that call as the expert, as the leader. You don't have to be positioned as a guru. I don't really care for that term anyway. And leverage those attributes that you have, okay? And in turn, show them how they can also position themselves in the same way, okay? Now, there's one thing that, you know, I really think is important when it comes to just working with people in sales, period. And that's, you know, being charismatic. That can go a long ways, all right? Being charismatic and just high energy, high impact, you know, just being right there, supporting that client 100%. That's not something you can teach. Okay, nobody can teach you that. Okay, and I think that's what separates, you know, the sheep from the wolf. All right, when it comes to sales, you can't teach somebody to have charisma. You can't teach somebody to be high energy. You're either that type of a person. You can learn it, sure, you can. But oftentimes, if you don't come across genuine, it then feels fake. Okay, and we don't ever want to come across as feeling like people kind of feeling like we're just that cheesy sales guy. All right. because that's the used car sales guy that nobody wants to interact with that guy for sure. Okay, so it's really really important that high energy is definitely not hard to give. I really believe that going into anything high energy is super important. Okay, and it goes back to, if you position yourself the right way with every person that you interact with, it's really simple to build trust. Okay, and if people feel you're trustworthy, okay, they will follow you wherever you want them to go. Okay, there's no doubt about it. I have seen it time and time and time again, and done it time and time and time again myself. Okay, so use those tools. Really leverage those tools that you have available to you, and if you're not somebody that is a prior business owner, or you run a business away from this, or whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter. You still have attributes that you can leverage because you are an expert at what you do. Okay, no matter what. Okay, you take people through some process. All right, and that's super important, because I could easily just take this specific instance and say, I have to date now worked with over 1,000 students to help them get their businesses started. That just in itself is a positioning tool. Okay, so period, in itself, I have helped 1,000 plus clients launch their business. Okay, don't tie it to success, none of that kind of stuff, because most of us don't know later on where people go. So don't tie it to anything to do with success or something like that. But that in itself it's already a positioning tool. Okay, and if you, as you grow and as you build as a salesperson, it really it gets a lot easier to leverage some of that. Because a lot of things to do with interacting with people and energizing people just comes through a process. All right, scripts are great, all that good stuff, but script should just be a simple guideline. Okay, use yourself, use your positioning as a tool to gain that trustworthiness, and let things kind of ride where they're going to go. Read your client. Okay, you can't always go off a script. It doesn't work most of the time. Okay, position yourself, and that's not something that's always scripted. All right, be able to shift on the fly. All right, the best salespeople in the world are the salespeople that can shift on the fly. All right, and they can morph to a situation very quickly. Okay, so position yourself as a leader, expert in the field. Okay, and they'll listen to you. Okay, that doesn't mean you have to leverage income. You don't have to leverage stuff like that. Those are the kinds of things that get companies into trouble. Okay, so you want to stay completely away from that, 100%. Okay, and focus more on things that revolve around you and attributes of you, things that you do, businesses you've owned. You can share all that stuff, absolutely. Just don't freely share the money side of things, because you don't ever want somebody to tie that back to you, because then that can directly tie back to any company that you're a salesperson for. Okay, so try to leave the do leave the monetary stuff out of the conversation. Period. All right, guys. Well, hey, I hope that cleared a few things up when it comes to positioning yourself. And stay tuned, and I'll be back with the last piece of this, which is the art of the close.